Welcome back to another episode of the CrossFit Rife podcast. Today we have Jess Lauser. She's one of our longtime members. How long have you been here?
7-year anniversary this year.
7 years. It's a long time.
Yeah.
How many kids have you had in that time?
Two kids. 5-year-old boy. I'm jumping. He will be 5 on the 24th of this month.
So he's 5.
So he thinks he's 15. And then an almost 2-year-old in July. So little girl, Josie.
Let's go. What got you into doing CrossFit? How did you start? How did you find out?
I would like to say I have like a really inspiring story, but really it was just Rob, my husband.
Okay.
So I remember we were dating. He was coaching, still coaching now, and he was just like, "Hey, you should come to CrossFit." And this is when we had 2 locations. So we had a location out at Oceanfront. So I lived out that way, and I was like, all right, and definitely had like a thought on CrossFit though. And so I remember being like, but I don't want to look like those
So
girls.
what was your thought? Because I hear this all the time and I love it.
I didn't want to look like the girls in the games. Like I just thought that they looked too big, too muscular. I mean, I'd always done sports growing up, but I didn't really do like a lot of lifting or heavy weights. And I remember Rob being like, you would have to put in a lot of work. He was like, no offense, but you'll never look like that.
No, I know. I love it. That's what I'll tell girls like that all the time. And it's not like I'm just being negative and I'm like, hey, you can't achieve what you want to achieve. Like, because you can. Like, obviously, like you're saying, it's going to take a lot. But usually I love when women say that. And I'm like, well, good thing you don't want to look like that because you probably won't. So.
Yeah, he was like, that's their full-time job a lot of the times. Like, you put in a lot of work.
And they're eating more calories than most grown men.
But what I thought was really interesting, and now I think I have a bigger appreciation for like the women at the CrossFit Games, is that it was all about like ability and capability. And like I remember Rob, because I was like, oh my gosh, like should I be insecure? Like Rob likes, the girls who are super fit. I was like, I will never be that. But it was a capability thing, and I feel like now that I've been here for so long, like I can appreciate that. And now I have like, the way that I look at women with muscles is like totally different, and like a great appreciation.
Let's dive into that a little bit, because obviously I'm not a woman. I don't know what that mindset is. I feel like guys, their want is to be as freaking jacked as possible. And so like what does that look like for you in the sense of like doing CrossFit? You've obviously been doing it for quite a long time now. You have been pretty capable and been able to do a lot of things that you probably thought at one point that you couldn't.
Yeah.
So like what made you have that mindset shift of being like, oh, I don't want to be, we'll just say, too good at this thing, because essentially that's kind of like what you're saying is like, oh, I don't want to like lose my feminism side into like now, like it's the mindset is, oh, this is really cool. It is cool to like be strong. It is cool to be capable of being able to do X, Y, Z. Did you have like a certain thing that kind of made you have that mindset shift, or what did that look like?
I don't know if I'd say it's a mind shift. I think it's just like being in the community and seeing other people doing the things, and I'm competitive. So that then made me want to do more. And then, I mean, it's been 7 years. I can look at myself and say like, I've grown muscle, but like, I'm not going to the CrossFit Games. But it's cool to challenge myself in different areas, and I think being able to see just all the different people here. And then when I do kind of look back at like where I started, and I can remember literally vividly being on a rower and then getting off of like a 2K buy-in and then having to jump on a box jump. And I was like, I can't feel my legs. And then was like, is this what CrossFit is? Like, we're just like, what is this? I will say having your husband try to coach you is not ideal. You just need someone else to coach you. So when someone's trying to teach you how to snatch, it's a very complicated movement. And so I got really frustrated in the beginning. I was embarrassed because it felt weird. I was trying to figure out the movements. I was getting frustrated because like someone who loved me also was trying to like give me advice and like outside like a class or something, and I'm just like, I couldn't hear it. And then slowly over time, it was like, all right, I can finally learn this is what it's supposed to feel like, or sometimes even getting used to like recording yourself and seeing like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. So I think in the grand scheme of things, like there wasn't one moment where it was like, oh, here's that switch. It was like, all right, I have put in a lot of work. I want to achieve like goals. And so once I was able to get whatever that next thing was, I mean, again, I can remember walking into the old location being like, I'll probably get a muscle up in 6 months. Okay, 7 years later, I got my first muscle up. I mean, I had some kind
Isn't
of.
it funny how that works though? Is like, I feel like there's two types of people that walk into the CrossFit gym, and it's like first, it's like you're gonna walk in, and I'm just gonna relate this in like basketball terms. Like you walk into the gym and you're like, it would be like if I wanted to go play pickup and I was like, hey, I want to be LeBron James in the next year. And that's like how a lot of people I feel like walking across it like, yeah, I'm gonna make the CrossFit Games in a year, or like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to do X, Y, Z within this next year. Like obviously it's great to have goals,
Yeah.
but at the same time it's like, is that realistic?
And if you don't have
And
anything to
so,
compare it to.
yeah, for sure. But I also love like that you're saying like, hey, like 7 years later, like now I am doing this stuff, and I think this is a big concept that we've been really trying to preach throughout maybe like even our social media or just like something through our coaching staff is like at the end of the day, consistency is the name of the game. And like intensity is obviously really important. Like that's kind of like where a lot of like your results and stuff, you're going to be able to see that. But that doesn't really matter if like the consistency aspect isn't there.
Yeah.
And so I think with you specifically, something that I really admire is like obviously I've never had a kid, like me personally physically, obviously one day I hope to be a dad, but it's like I will never give birth to a child, right? And so it's like you've been through that twice and you've still kept coming back. You trained throughout your pregnancies and stuff. So like what would you give advice to other like mothers who are going through that, or they're considering like if maybe they do want to be a mother and stuff but they don't want their training to kind of like slack off? How would you kind of speak to them to be able to encourage them about like how to be more consistent? Because obviously you probably feel a little sick some days and you're like, hey, this is not what I want to do, but you probably still showed up some days. So
Yeah.
what would you say to those women?
I mean, I think the hardest part is showing up.
Yeah.
Getting up and kind of getting here when you don't want to. I mean, there were seasons where I wasn't as consistent, and I'm definitely my most consistent that I have been ever. Even when I didn't have kids, which is funny because you would think I'd have more time, but I kind of prioritize work. And now where I know my time is very short, it's like, okay, I need to get here. And so I am here most 5 days out of the week.
Yeah.
But I think it's finding the people that encourage you to keep coming back. It's really neat to know that, like, I mean, you don't know who's watching you as well, too. And, like, you're kind of inspiring people without even trying to. Like, I remember May, one of my, really good friends here now is, like, I remember walking in, touring this place, and you were pregnant. And she was like, how, like, I can't not come back. She was like, I had this 9-month-old pregnant lady, working out, and she's like, I gotta come. And so, not that I look for those pieces of like encouragement, but like,
But it definitely helps.
Yeah, it's nice to know that like I can encourage someone else, or listen to your body, because that's what I think is really important too. Is you definitely should. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do, like professionally in like the medical field. But like I will say that throughout my pregnancy, I got some weird advice of like not to do this or not to watch out for the kettlebell.
Yeah.
I was like, what specifically about the kettlebell should I not do? And they're just like, well, it can get a little heavy. And so at that point, my advice to you is do your own research.
Yeah.
And I dove into that really deep and followed other fitness moms that were pregnant and kind of just made sure that what I was doing was safe for me. I talked to the coaches here to kind of say, hey, could I have some other suggestions on like how I can modify this? it definitely is kind of like a hit to the gut though, because when you're so used to doing all of the things and when you get really pregnant, you can't really do everything that you're maybe physically can still do, but maybe you shouldn't do because it's going to damage your core even more. And, you know, I think it was just really cool to have like the community here, even coming back to, I mean, I think I didn't leave the house for the first month after I had my kid because I just didn't know what to do. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then one morning I came to the 9 a.m. class with like 5 baby wraps and was like, can you guys help me? Like, I wasn't ready to work out again, but I was like, I needed that mom support. So it was nice to be able to come here and just be surrounded by other moms that had been through that, had already had 2-3 kids. And so like they were an inspiration to me to be able to say like, hey, I've seen all these other moms. Like why can't I do that too? So it's just getting here is half the battle because yeah, some days you don't. But I will say I was really lucky with my pregnancies of feeling good.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I remember the day that I knew I was pregnant. We were doing a pull-up run workout, and it was like a 400-meter run. And afterwards, I was like, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to throw up. And Rob was here, my husband, and like we were in the gym, and I don't think it was like really understanding what I was saying. And then we're in the car, and I was just like, yeah, I think I'm going to throw up. He's like, yeah, me too. I was like, no, I think I'm going to throw up. I think I'm fucking pregnant. And he was like, oh.
Just what? Straight over the head.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I think
catch on at all.
No, he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to throw up too. I was like, no, I was in the bathroom, like thinking like I never get sick off of like a 400-meter run. And so I was like, I think I'm going to go take a pregnancy test. So
that's sick.
And I was.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that was with Trip. That was 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
About 5 years ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I think another thing that I like love about you, and I know we give y'all a hard time about the 3 o'clock class, obviously, because y'all are a bunch of hooligans, and but y'all really kind of embody like this. We like with CrossFit itself. I think one of the things that pulls people in so much and helps with the consistency and is just like accountability and community as a whole. And it's like you have your little group of like you, Megan, Kate, May, Nicole, Delaney. And I think with that, it's been cool to see because it's like, as coaches, I feel like one of the skills that like a coach has is like being able to see like and be able to tell like when athletes can push a little bit more or like if, hey, like I think that you can do this, and it's like you might have doubts in your own mind of like, hey, I probably can't do this, but like I think a quality of like good coaches, like they can kind of see that and call that out in people and be able to be like, hey, you need to be able to add this on, and then they realize after like, oh yeah, I can do that. But I think that it's like that is also like what the community and the closest of other friends is like kind of encouraging you to do is like y'all are all doing a bunch of stuff that I feel like when y'all all kind of start, not necessarily you, but I feel like a lot of the others, like when they first started, they probably would have never done. Whether it's just like lifting heavier on heavy days or just going faster at workouts. Y'all just got done with a high rocks.
Yeah, that was super fun.
And that's stuff that I feel like a lot of y'all probably just wouldn't have done if it wasn't for just like having that community aspect, I guess.
Yeah.
So first of all, how was the high rocks? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. It was, so it's funny because the group of us 6, like we really became friends a year ago, like last summer. And it's funny, we all try to like figure out like, wait, how did we become so close? But it just like organically happened. And then all of a sudden we're like, you know, all at the 3 p.m. And then we were like, hey, why don't we go to a vacation together and do a high rocks? And so in my mind, I'm thinking like, I've never been on vacation or really anywhere other than like maybe a dinner with these girls. And now we're about to go out of the country with them. I was like, I hope this goes well. I had high hopes, and it did. We all traveled well, which was kind of half the stress. I was like, how are we going to travel? What does that look like? But everyone was great. And then the cool thing about the high rocks, and we originally were trying to do it in DC, but that sold out so fast. And so we kind of started throwing out some other places. And then jokingly, Cancun came up and they were like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, oh, we're really doing
I mean,
this.
for real.
So we did, and the neat thing about the High Rocks in Cancun was that it was an outside venue. So we kind of had questions on like how were we going to handle the heat? What was that going to look like? Because I mean, we were training in about winter, and so we weren't really outside. Primarily Spanish speaking, and so there was a language barrier there.
Y'all don't have that. You don't have that
No,
ability.
no, I have my phone, but you can't be walking around with that.
Just translate it.
So like most of the, it was just little things, but like even like counting, right? Like when we got to the wall balls and they're counting to Spanish, or they're counting to 100 in Spanish. And so then I remember just kind of being like, ooh, like we need to like really keep track of this. And we're kind of like turn around and be like, hey, wait, are we at this or this? And so you're losing your focus a little bit. And so we just like immersed ourselves in like the culture there. And it was really fun. And I mean, the heat definitely, I think, had an impact on us. So we all four kind of talked about like what would it look like if we did it again, but did it in an indoor venue, because like visually it was really pretty, but we're stopping to get water more often because like our mouth's dry, we're hot, we're running on cobblestone, so your elements were just like a little bit different than what typically we were expecting to do. The weights were a little more challenging for me than I thought they were going to be, which was surprising, but Delaney was a great partner.
What was
Oof. 170.
What was it for the wall balls?
Well, wall balls were fine. Wall ball was just, it was like a 10-pound. Sandbags were fine. Kettlebell was 35. It was the sled push and pull. It was like 170 and then like 225. And then the nastiest one was like the burpee broad jumps. The floor was so sweaty.
Yeah, because you probably got like hundreds, maybe thousands of people just rolling on the ground. It
was gross, but we had a goal of like hitting it under an hour and a half, and we like slid by with an hour and 29. So Delaney and I were really happy with that. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. I think that was key too. It was just she pushed me in certain areas, and then we kind of both fed off each other. And it's definitely a silent partner, though. We talked about this. Like she's
the silent partner.
Silent partner. Like I did more of like the talking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was.
I do think it's funny because it's like you were with Delaney, and I feel like y'all are very different in that aspect. And then I feel like Megan and Kate were together, and they are also very different in that aspect. So it's like you had to have one yapper and one quiet one. But I do think it's interesting, like, to see y'all's friend group dynamic, because I feel like that is how y'all are. Like, half of y'all are just very out there, expressive, all this stuff, and then the other half is like, eh.
But that's what makes it.
That's what balances out a little bit.
And we learned a little bit about each other, which was fun. Cool. I mean, we're sleeping in the same room, staying in the same spot. You better be on time for Delaney. Like, she's gonna make sure you get to that Uber like 5 minutes early. And then Kate, she's like, they'll wait. They'll wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, they actually won't. They actually won't wait.
So it was cool then to be able to bring it back here and just like, we felt closer. And the two girls that couldn't make it, like Nicole and May, couldn't come. And so we were like, all right, well, let's just go to Cancun next year as like a girls trip. So yeah, that bond's been really neat to make, because although I've had friends over the 7 years, I've kind of, I've never had like my group, like people, and not to say that it's like cliquey or anything like that, but just like people that I also hang out with outside of the gym. And I think that's like, this has been the first time to like actually have a solid group of like girlfriends that I can do that with. Because I mean, again, when you have kids, like the friendship group kind of changes a little bit, and what we can do, and we don't have family close by, so we can't just up and leave and go to the beach all day or do certain things. So like those dynamics kind of changed, which was fine. And so yeah, it's really fun to be able to have them, and they're in all their different seasons, whether they have kids or not, or single or married. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I think community is just a in the gym, it's fantastic. I think also in life, it's just like I just feel like that's how we're supposed to be. Like, it's how we're designed to be, is like with other people, like doing life together and stuff. So I'm glad that y'all have found that. Sometimes it's a little annoying just to the extent of which y'all disrupt class sometimes. But it's like I was talking to somebody about it the other day, because they were like, "Are you sure you want that to be your class for like your level 4 class?" And I was like, "Listen, like I would honestly rather that. Like I think everybody would I know we give y'all a hard time, but like we would rather that than like a class of just people who are zombies and just like sit there silent all class. It's just I don't know. It's a good time. Y'all know how to keep things fun.
Yeah. It's
Which I
hard.
think from a training aspect is just like it's just so cool because it's like you have to be able to have fun enjoying the process and like you have to love the process. I know that's very cliche and stuff, but it's like if you're not taking time to like step back and be like it's not so serious and like actually get to enjoy your training days and stuff, it's like that's why you're going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think we see most of us or a lot of us do work from home too. So then we may
So
not
that's
have.
really y'all's time.
So then we come in and we're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
people. And then
Yeah.
if we've had like too much pre-workout or creatine or just like even
I don't think creatine does that, but that's good try.
Have you ever had like too many scoops of creatine?
That doesn't work like that.
Yes, it did.
I promise it doesn't.
I swear. It gave me the jitters.
I promise it doesn't. Creatine does not do that.
Listen, I felt.
I think that's a little placebo effect because creatine does not do that at all.
It's just the energy then that we bring to the class.
Right. That's funny. So I kind of want to dive into this next thing. You've been really big on Instagram this year. I think that's kind of been like a highlight of your year so far. A highlight, not the highlight, but going back to like just keeping it fun and stuff. Y'all's group again is like y'all have been making a bunch of like reels, like challenges that you see on Instagram. Which one is your favorite so far?
They're so funny to make in the moment. I mean, they're like it's funny because I just like laugh thinking about all of them. There was one, actually there's a couple. There was one early on where it's like it was me, Kate, and Megan, and you make yourself look like a horse. And so one person has to like grab you from behind and then the other person gets on your back like a piggyback and then you have to like lift them up. And then the person in the front like kicks their feet, so it kind of looks like a horse. And then the person on the back has to hold on, and so it was just a shit show. And so we're in the small gym, and people are just watching us like fall over and over.
What are we doing?
And so
is this on your Instagram?
Yeah.
We'll have to attach a clip of this on there just so people can
and then
see it.
we slow mode it. And so like that one was fun. And so then we'll do like funny ones, or we'll do like fitness challenge. And so like sometimes we like really surprise ourselves. We're like, dang, we got that. Or we do some and I don't even get around to posting it because I was like, wow, this is so bad. I will not name some of them, but yeah, it's been fun just to kind of like post that stuff, something to look forward to.
That's cool.
And I saw
one of them you had posted like kind of going back to like I know you had mentioned like doing muscle ups and stuff earlier, and you had like made a post about like you're having this like slogan for the year, or this motto for the year. What is that? And then dive into a little bit about like what that meant to you.
Yeah. So kids, cover your ears. But it was just like fuck it, I'm gonna try it. Why not? I think I always kept trying to figure out when was the right time. And that could have been like anything in life. When is the right time to do this thing? Or when's the right time to try double unders? Or I'm not going to try it in a workout because I don't have it. And then...
So talking about like skills or like what is this, like weight skills?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was probably more like gymnastic-y stuff, like with double unders. I know like I always kind of was like, well, I'm really good at single unders, so I'm just going to do that in a workout. Like I'm going to get frustrated if I try to do double unders. And at this point I had, 2 kids. I didn't really have time to stay after to practice. And so like my hour was my hour. And so whatever I could fit in there. And so then I just kind of, kept showing up. And then I really don't know like what made me kind of just be like, I'm just going to try a muscle up. Like, I'm just going to try double unders. But I like change this mindset. And I think a lot of it too is like having kids and just having them watch you. And then I get bored with what I'm doing, where I'm like, okay, I'm always doing this single under.
Yeah.
I'm always, you know, I can do pull-ups, or I can do whatever that movement, or like, you can't do this, or if we're not here yet, you can do that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm kind of bored of that. Like I had to modify a lot when I was pregnant. And so I was like, I don't want to have to. And now within reason, like if I was hurt or, you know, I couldn't do something, that was fine. But I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to get up there and try to do a muscle up.
Yeah.
And so like I did. It was a little chicken wingy, but I got up there, and then the next thing, it was like a couple weeks later, I think I was like, all right, F it. I'm going to try a legless rope climb. And did that. And then for the open, I think I had 30 seconds left in the workout, and it was ring muscle ups. And I was like, well, I can't wait to stare at the rings for 30 seconds. And then I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to get up there. And during the workout, I got up-ish.
It was close. I remember it was so close.
It felt like a still moment where I got up and then my wrist had slipped out, or my hand had slipped. And so it was just hanging on my wrist, on my right arm. And I was just like, I have to get this. But I was like, it's not worth losing my arm. And I was like, so I'm going to come down. So at that point, I knew, though, like, I could do it. And so I kind of like gave myself like a couple more minutes, and I looked around, and like my energy was all like still, my adrenaline was going. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try it again. Like, I feel like I can do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to record it because I didn't want to jinx myself, which is weird because I'm not superstitious. But I was like, I don't want to record myself. I don't want to not be able to do it. And then I did it and got up and was like, oh my God. And we got a photo of it. And
it was sick.
Super exciting. And you know what? I haven't done ring muscle ups since the open. So
hey, it doesn't matter. We got them. So
I was like, I got it.
Again. We can quit CrossFit. We can retire. It's great.
So that I think is just like, once I started seeing those results, I was like, okay, well, what else can I not try? And so being able to kind of fit that into different places, and like we just signed up for Kilo Crush, so Delaney and I are.
Oh, y'all are doing it?
We're doing it.
Let's go. We're doing it. That'll be sick.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. First of all, congrats. Like, that's fantastic stuff. I think it just, once again, it goes to like speak towards like your consistency and stuff. And I think for you, it's in like CrossFit as a definition or whatever, like when we talk about like strength or like being able to apply, like it's like you being able to actually apply strength of like what you can actually do, right? And it's like, could you have done your muscle ups and legless rope climbs and double unders prior to those actual moments that you did them? Yeah, you probably could have, because you just kind of like pulled them out, right? But it's like, you never tried.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, like you had this, for whatever reason, like you're just like, hey, I'm going to shy away from these things. I'm not going to do them. But I just love the fact that you're just like, hey, I'm at a point where it's like, if I mess up or if I fail, if I don't get it anymore, like, so be it. But I'm not going to like let me not trying be the reason that I don't have this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's just such a cool concept, because I think so many times in fitness or even just in life as a whole, like I know I'm like guilty of doing this sometimes, just this paralysis by analysis thing of just like, we think about, like you said, like the right time to do X, Y, or Z, but it's like, no, like just try it. I think one of the biggest things is like people are so afraid to fail, or like so afraid of like, oh, well, what will other people think of me if I don't do it, or if I don't
Everyone's
succeed.
watching me right now, I can't do it.
I can't do it. And it's like, yeah, who cares? Like, what if you can do it?
Yeah.
Not like, what if I can't? Like, what if we have this mindset of shift of just like, what if I can do this thing? And so I think it's awesome that you're kind of taking the charge on that and just like setting the example of, hey, let's actually try it.
Yeah. But it's taken me a long time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like to look back and, I mean, if I think about what have I done for 7 years, I mean, I've worked, right? Like I've worked for a long time. I haven't been in a job for 7 years. I haven't been a mom for 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, so like 7 years is a long time, and then to be able to like just again shift your mindset, but that I think takes time. I think it takes like life experience.
It does.
And then to be able to then again have like our friends to be able to be like, no, like let's try this, or no, let's do that. Or like them looking at me being like, hey, get up there, or you go do it again, or hey, like you're whatever the advice is or the encouragement or like the shit talking that like that usually helps.
That's what gets you up there.
So yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
That's cool. But yeah, that's why it's got to have people in your corner. This fly is pissing me off right now.
You got to get them.
You think you could
I don't. I am.
Grab with fingers?
No,
I can't do it,
we're about to sign Trip up for some jiu-jitsu, so maybe he could use like his jiu-jitsu moves and
just a little,
a
little one of those. That'd be sick.
He's stoked.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I don't really have anything else. Or do you have anything you want to say to the people?
No, just
that's it.
Fuck it.
That's it. That's all right. That's our word for the year. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget, drop a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to keep seeing more of these podcasts. And if you have any topics that you would like to know next, we're going to keep rocking a little bit more with the athlete stories. But if you have any topics you want to learn more about, some more informational type stuff, let us know.
Thanks,
See you on the next one.